Cool. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the Narik Chase channel. I'm your boy Narik Chase, and in this video, we're going to be doing another episode of the Streamline podcast. This is episode 85, I believe, and I got some pretty exciting news. Something that just came across my desk, and I was like, you know what? I got to do a Streamline this week, so I'm definitely going to talk about these three subjects. Now, for those who don't know, the Streamline podcast is basically news, topics, articles, and stuff that I've come across, and I just get to talking about them. I try not to ramble too long about it, but hey, what do you know? If you want to get idea, you want to get this good discussion out there, you will say what's on your heart. Also, before we get started, guys, be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what we got on this channel. And we do upload videos every week on the weekends, so usually Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm uploading more videos. But having said that, let's go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of this video. Now, the three subjects that I do want to talk about is the new Saints Row game that's coming out, Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, and of course the new Marvel Midnight Suns game that 2K is developing. And I just want to go ahead and just jump right into it and talk about this. Now, for those who don't know, I'm a huge Saints Row fan. I haven't really played the first game. I really enjoyed the second game. I really enjoyed the third game. I really enjoyed the fourth game. And I actually did like Get Out of Hell. So I was very impatient for the next entry in the series because I think it has a lot of potential. I like the characters. I like the comedy. I like the gameplay. Just Saints Row is basically the alternative to GTA. Is less serious, it's got more comedy in it, but it has all the feels and destruction of a GTA game. And for the longest time, you know, it comes out, people said, hey, it's a rip-off of GTA, which it is basically a parody of GTA, but it has forged itself its own path. Now, in recent years, the game has went to some very interesting directions, and whether you could say this is a good thing or a bad thing is pretty much up for debate for anyone. Me, I think it's an interesting way that they've gone with it, but I don't necessarily think that was a good way to go because it ultimately almost killed the franchise the way that it ended. For those who don't know, in the fourth game, you play as superheroes in this Matrix style alien invasion that ultimately culminated in the world being destroyed. In a Get Out of Hell game, you play as Gat going to hell to get the big boss, and like it just got very complicated. It's weird. It feels like when you're playing this game in the way that this series is went, it feels like a multiverse, parallel dimension, time. It just goes in some very weird directions. And like I said, depending on how you see it, depending on how you feel about the series, this could be a good or a bad thing. And I haven't said that, I'm glad that they have announced that they are going to be having another game that's coming out. And then I have some thoughts because I seen the trailer and I ultimately thought it was interesting, but there are some things about it that really stood out to me, and I wish that and I want to just go ahead and talk about it. Now, for one, I will say this: I know a lot of people do not like this trailer because of the way it looks. Me personally, I do feel like it does feel like a Saints Row. It's a little less grounded because Saints Row, at least initially, felt a little bit more grounded. Somewhat like GTA before things get a little bit more kooky and all these weird stunts and stuff. But I had to admit, someone did say that this game does remind them of Cyberpunk, and I admit it does look like Cyberpunk. The way it looks, the way it's shot, the way it feels, the action of it. It does feel like they took some inspiration, at least aesthetically wise, from Cyberpunk 2077. So hopefully this isn't. It doesn't feel super close to that, but like I said, just going off the trailer, there's really no gameplay, so we can't really say what is going on. Now, this is not. I'm not sure. Now, some sources I've seen said this isn't a reboot, and some sources says. I mean, I know it's not a remaster, but some sources I've came across said this is a reboot, and then some sources say this isn't a reboot. And if it isn't a reboot, what is going to be in this that's tying into the original Saints Row games? And if it is, okay, perhaps this is a character that left from the original core game, maybe in like the first game or the second game or something, and then is making their way, forging their own path based off, some of the experiences of the original game. So it would feel like more of a continuation with just a different character. But if it is a reboot, then will we? I would want to see more of those same elements of the original games in this, and how much will it be original versus new is just pretty much up to the developer. But I will see how that fits into this, because I'm all for expanding a bit more into the Saints Row world. Yes, we really got attached to these characters over here, but if you can make a bit of a continuation, a little side character going into his own, then I'm cool with that as well. Now, the last games, of course, was the Get Out of Hell, and I want to say there was another game, but I'm not sure what it was because I didn't play it. But now this game is said to be released next year in February, and one of the best things that I think that came out of the trailer is, like I said, it was really hip and action packed. Now, of course, with all the new games and stuff that's coming out, there's a shit ton of bugs. There's a shit ton of shit that's not developed properly. That some of the games ain't finished, and I'm kind of worried about that because of the way the new gaming techs tend to make games and everything. Like, hopefully this will be an open world experience that is finished and that is good, because all of the other Saints Row games were actually finished and good. So this did premiere on the Gamescom release, a video game release thing. So this fairly new. It's been a couple of days since it came out, but I'm like, okay, cool. I'm interested in seeing what we got to go with Saints Row. Now, again, new characters, customizable main protagonists, which is a trend in the Saints Row games. The main protagonists that you do play as, you can customize them: male, female, black, white, green, just in kind of aesthetic that you think that the game will allow. Gives you that bit of freedom, which I really appreciated from the games. Now, this is a new location based on the American Southwest, so it's going to be filmed more like Texas, New Mexico type area, called Santo Leso. And one of the things that the Saints Row also usually has in its formula is basically the 3 gang rule. There's 3 villains, 3 gangs, and you got to deal with these 3 gangs throughout the game and the story and everything. There'll be 9 districts, which again is what you would expect from a Saints Row game, the different districts and the power plays that entail in that. Now, for lastly, I want to talk about the characters that we've seen in the trailer and my impressions of them. We have Eli, we have Nina, and we have Kevin. Now, and even what they show with the main boss character. Now, this is my thing about these characters. They obviously don't feel like characters that probably would be in the Saints Row game. They feel more like this whole new generation of millennials. You know what I'm saying? The non-binary and the gay and stuff like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what, when I look at these characters, that is pretty much what I see. I see the little nerdy girl that seems like she's gonna be a crazy feminist. I see the black dude that looks like a fake version of Lucius Fox from that terrible show Batwoman. And I see this Asian guy that looks like he can break dance and he's really smart. And I know that's something I'm kind of a trope that I'm just saying right there, but I don't care. I'm sitting here trying to make a point. I could say that this feels like a new generation of Saints, and that's another thing that I think will be an interesting idea if played right, but hopefully they don't do that whole SJW woke crap. And that's what's got me worried about it, because these characters feel like they're in that woke crowd. Even if you look at the boss character of it, she looks like Batwoman from that terrible Batwoman show. She looks like a broke-ass version of Ruby Rose. But anyways, those are my thoughts for the new Saints Row game. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that. Let's move on to the next subject. Of course, the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer dropped a few days ago. Was really hyped about it. There's some elements of it that I like. There's some elements that I don't like. Now, for those who don't know, have seen it in the trailer, Peter Parker, everybody knows he's Spider-Man now. So he goes to Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange says he's going to do this spell that erases everyone's memory of him being Spider-Man, and then of course stuff goes wrong. Now there's some things I like about the trailer, and there's some stuff I don't like about the trailer. And let's talk about the things that I do like about the trailer. I do like the aspect of the idea of the whole multiverse aspect of it, at least in the way that the films have presented it. So hopefully we can delve a bit more to it, have a good presentation and consistency with the multiverse, and hopefully it doesn't come off as a cheap ripoff as what I normally usually see in the comics, where if they have like, you know, two Reed Richards, they're the same, they look exactly the same and everything. I would like to see different incarnations of characters and different positions in life and stuff like that. But hopefully we don't get that. Hopefully obviously we are into some capacity, so it's a bit of a give and take thing for me on that. Now of course Doc Ock, Alfred Molina from the Spider-Man 2 film, in 2004 makes his big appearance, and everybody is happy to see it because he is probably one of the most perfectly cast characters in superhero / comic book movies of all time. He does a fantastic job as Doc Ock, and it was great seeing this character in this film. So in the trailer. So hopefully he gets the screen time. Hopefully he gets to be just as awesome as he was in Spider-Man 2, if not more. Now there are hints of other characters supposedly in this movie, and the most significant one would be the Green Goblin, played by Willem Dafoe. But there is evidence that, of course, the Lizard is going to be here, Sandman, Electro, and so another idea that I'm thinking of. Okay, is this potentially the way that they're going to build the Sinister Six movie by having these previously established characters who pretty much died in their respective movies and everything come together through the multiverse to make the Sinister Six? And if this is the case, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Now, this is one thing I do want to. I kind of do want them to introduce a new villain in this movie. Yes, it'd be good to have Electro back because he's already confirmed to be back in the movie. The trailer damn near confirms Green Goblin, or at least a version of Green Goblin, is going to be in this movie. And Doc Ock is going to be in this movie as well. But I do want to have a new villain. Maybe a new villain set up in the MCU before these other villains from the other Spider-Man movies come in. Or maybe they're just going to play on the nostalgia of the original, these characters, give them more screen time and do them a lot better. Electro is one of the villains that I really enjoyed in the film, but I felt like he basically was shortchanged. He did not get the screen time to develop as he should have. So hopefully him being brought back into this, he get more of that screen time. Now I can say that the MCU has done a pretty decent job of having multiple big cast and giving them shine, giving them all good screen time. So if they can still maintain that and have all of these villains in one movie, then fine. Now a little bit more into like the rumor thing. Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, who played the previous versions of Spider-Man and the Amazing Spider-Man series, are said to be in the film. And it's got this big storm of rumors going on. I was like, are they going to be in the film? And then there are things that I've read that said, yes, they're going to be in the film. And it obviously would make sense for them to be in the film because they're pulling from their movies. So it makes sense for those characters to be in a film. And then there's some rumors that saying that they're not going to be in the film. And the fact that, again, they weren't in the trailer, which honestly I feel like if they were in the movie, the biggest thing that could have made a more impactful trailer would be to have those three stand together. Kind of like at the end where you get Alfred Molina's "Hello, Peter" line, which was like epic as a last part of the trailer. I think that same thing could be said for having all three of these Spider-Man together at the end of the trailer. Be a good ending to a trailer. So hopefully those two are in, and I don't know what the hell to say if they aren't. I'd just be like, I don't know what kind of decisions they making here. But I also like the fact that this could potentially play out as the third and fourth installment of those Spider-Man movies and give them a bit of closure, because both of those movies had pretty interesting and pretty good stories throughout the films. But the biggest problem is the last one that you would have wanted to see a bit more closure on. They didn't really get that. And if that's the case, then is Emma Stone and Kirsten Dunst going to come back as Mary Jane and Gwen Stacy? Because I think I would like to actually again see a bit more closure with those characters. So, and lastly, let's go ahead and just get to something that kind of bothers me about the trailer. Now, one of the biggest problems I have with the trailer is kind of the setup of it. The whole thing is Peter Parker has to deal with everyone knowing that he's Spider-Man and the repercussions of that. This movie feels like it's not going to go through with it. I mean, maybe you'll see some people messing with them stuff. Maybe you'll get some death threats or something like that. But I feel like them doing this whole multiverse, Doctor Strange doing his spell, feels like it's a cop-out. But it feels like they went into this not knowing how they were going to get out of it. Honestly, I feel like one of the best things they could have did was him deal with this legal stuff, which obviously is going to be in a movie. Why not bring She-Hulk into it? She's a lawyer. Why can't she be defending him? And it'd be a great way of introducing her character. And probably would have been a good way of introducing her as She-Hulk, not just an alter ego character. Or hell, this could have been a good movie to introduce Daredevil, Matt Murdock. Same way, this could have been him making his debut. All of these villains show up. He stands there, helps Spider-Man. She-Hulk could do the exact same. But I would love to see the legal aspect of this, the legal repercussions. Hey, you're Spider-Man. You've been breaking the law. You've been a vigilante. You know what I'm saying? This is the legal repercussions of this. Also have to where, the public outcry of he saved people's lives. He saved the world. Why should he have to pay? And then some people be like, hey, he's damaged stuff, so he has to pay. So I would love to see that. That's one of the reasons I like Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, is they dipped into the social and legal aspect of these people being superhero, or at least Superman being a superhero. Is he accountable? Should he help? Same idea that I would like to see in Spider-Man No Way Home. I hope they do give some shine onto that, because I think it is a good storyline. But like I said, the bulk of the movie, of course, is going to be the whole multiverse of madness. Now, the second thing that's got me worried also about the multiverse of madness aspect, which I keep saying multiverse of magic, madness, which is Doctor Strange 2, which this leads into the Doctor Strange 2. So it's actually the multiverse right now. But I don't like the whole fact that Peter, and it appears that Peter messes up the spell. I think if Peter is a smart, intelligent cat, there's no way this man's gonna be doing this super complex spell and he's just sitting there just freaking out, asking dumb questions, and the dude is like, shut up, stop bothering me, I'm trying to do a spell. I hope that's not what messes up the spell. I hope it's a villain shows up at the last minute and does something stupid, messes up the spell. I hope somebody shows up, messes up the spell. I do not want Peter to just be sitting here talking, messing up the spell, knowing this is a very complex spell. Shut up. I think that's stupid. They better give me a different reason as to how the spell getting messed up. Maybe Doctor Strange underestimated it, or didn't remember a word or something, but he's Benedict Cumberbatch. He knows all the spells and everything. He's like a genius. So that whole aspect of Peter messing up the spell because he want to shut up talking is something I don't like. They better come up with a better reason and a better reason. But outside of that, I guess, you know what I'm saying, I'm okay with the trailer. I think it looks pretty cool. I think it kind of leans a little bit more to the multiverse aspect a little bit too much, rather than actually giving us a bit more what the movie's about. But hey, that's what trailers are for. Now, let's go ahead and get into the third and final subject. There is a new Marvel game coming out called, what is it called? I'd say I didn't do this. Oh, Marvel's Midnight Suns. Now, the Midnight Suns, from what I can tell, is basically the Marvel equivalent of the Justice League Dark. Appears to be a lot of people with magical abilities, demonic, vampiric, supernatural, basically in supernatural characters, supernaturally based characters, paranormal, magical, stuff like that, demonic. So I think they're basically the equivalent of the Justice League Dark from the DC Comics. So 2K Games is making this, developing this game, or at least publishing it. They have good control of it in high capacity, which got me worried because 2K tends to, focus mainly on wrestling games and basketball games, and we all know how those games are. Those games freaking suck. There's no effort put into those games whatsoever. They are just riddled with BS, the lacking content, the lack of creativity, the lack of actually giving a damn to just give gamers a good product and not repasting the exact same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Now, I will say that they do have the XCOM games, which the XCOM games are pretty cool, and it looks like this game is actually going to be modeled in the somewhat of the XCOM style, which I don't mind that. I think that they need to be a little bit more diverse with how their games are. But again, 2K, this is kind of like a new direction for them with like a comic book game. Now, I watched the trailer, thought the trailer actually looked pretty cool. One of the things that I liked is the cast of characters. A lot of them are obscure characters that you typically don't see in these games or really get this complete, like, spotlight in really the comics and the media and stuff like that. Maybe more in the comics, but not definitely in the media. Some of these characters I haven't seen in the video game before. Some of these characters I haven't seen in the movie or television before. So they're pretty obscure to me. Now, the roster and the cast that we do see on here, I was actually pretty impressed with. And of course, you got you got them taken from different groups. You have from the Avengers, Iron Man and Captain America, and I guess Captain Marvel. You have Ghost Rider. The Robbie Reyes version of the character. You have Blade from X-Men. You got Wolverine. You got I forgot what that lady's name. I forgot the lady's name. Magic. Yes. What was it? From the Runaways. You got this character called Nico Minoru. I don't know who this character is. You got Doctor Strange. So that's a pretty good, interesting cast and pretty diverse, if you ask me, in my opinion. And it's set to March. It's set to release in March of next year. So now, what is the game about? There is a creature, demonic, angelic, I don't know, named Lilith, and she's been released apparently somehow. Now, from what I've been able to gather, it seems like Hydra, which is one of the big bad organizations of the of Marvel, is seemingly that they released her, and she's on her just ready to just mess some stuff up. Now, in order to combat this threat, Doctor Strange and Nico having, in the trailer at least, released unsealed a character called the Hunter. Now, the Hunter apparently is the child of Lilith. And one of the things that I think is pretty interesting is, at least in the trailer, it's a woman. It looks like a woman. Maybe it's non-binary. I don't know. But one of the things I thought was pretty cool was this character is supposed to be customizable, so you could be potentially making your own character. Now, the presence of that character is going to be significant within the story, but it's actually pretty cool seeing Marvel allow you to create your own character, and I love that. Creating characters is freaking awesome. Get on it with your future games, Marvel and DC. More create your damn characters. So that's going to be something that's actually, reeling me in a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm interested in that. I like having games where you can create your own character. Now, for those who don't know, the Midnight Suns this game is going to be based on a 90s comic, Midnight Suns Unlimited, which saw the heroes like Morbius, Blade, Ghost Rider, and the Werewolf by Night. Pretty cool name. Face a demon invasion led by the fallen angel Lilith. It looks like this game is going to be an adaptation of that. So I'm interested to see where we're going to go with this. It's going to be a turn-based strategic RPG, much like the XCOM. So hopefully there'll be a little bit of deviation that'll make it a little bit more unique in the XCOM game. But if not, I'm cool with that too. And I'm interested in it. And I think this game really would appeal to people that like Ultimate Alliance, X-Men Legends, Justice League Heroes if it's going to be in that format. Now, lastly, before I go on this, one of the things that I could say I really appreciated about the trailer was how freaking awesome those costumes look, especially Wolverine's. It looked really cool. We had little padding on it and everything, kind of like when Ultimate Alliance 2 came out, and you're like, oh my god, she's got this padding and stuff all in his outfit, and it looks pretty cool. So I have to say that. Now, have said that, guys, that is it for this episode of the Streamline Podcast. Let us know what are your thoughts about the new Saints Row game. Do you like the new direction of it? The Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, do you like the look of it? Did I see Alfred Molina come back? And also the Marvel Midnight Suns game. Are you interested in the idea of it? Are you interested in the game itself? Be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, hit that notification button to get the best of what we got going on this channel, and we'll definitely catch you guys later.